The Fargone podcast, presented by This Is Coffee. Premium instant coffee meant to be enjoyed outside. Get yours at thisiscoffee.ca.
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Good.
Good, nice. We're just rocking and rolling without our fearless leader Nolan here, and working through some technical issues. We've had 2/3 of a podcast already, talking hunting stories and stuff like that, which is always nice. I always enjoy getting to chat with you. So, not the
No,
end of
for
the
sure.
world.
But no, it's good to be back after the holidays.
Yeah, man, no doubt. How were the holidays for you? What'd you get up to?
There was good. Mostly spent them in Revelstoke, skiing,
Yeah.
sledding, stuff like that.
That's sweet, buddy. Are you? You know what? I actually don't even know. Like, you obviously have like like where you live and the ranch and stuff like that, just outside, kind of like Kamloops Salmon Arm there. But are you from Revelstoke?
No, I'm from Chilliwack.
Oh yeah, I knew that. What am I
Yeah.
talking about? Yeah, I knew that.
And then my parents have a place in Revelstoke.
Ah, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Like
Yes, it
in
is
Revelstoke
sweet.
proper, or like up at the ski resort?
Well, like in Revelstoke, there's not really a whole lot of people that live
Yeah.
at the ski resort, so we're just in town.
Yeah, nice.
Like all the places that are on the ski resort are like entry 10 mil.
That's kind of why I was asking. I was like, what kind of what kind of a friend do I have here? Like, how
Yeah.
we like we
Yeah, I just hop in the
we got a
chopper and
chalet
then-
to come to, or what's the deal? And it's funny looking back. I remember, oh gosh, I'd like just moved back to Canada, and I was like, it was like 20, it would have been 2018, 2019 ski season. I was skiing in Revy. I was like, oh man, I'm like just looking at real estate and stuff. And I swear to you, what do they call that area? Like that's kind of in between mid station, or there's like a bunch of
Malaqua?
what's no, not up there. Like in Revelstoke proper, and then just outside of it, but a little bit closer to the mountain, there's a bunch of townhouses and stuff like that got built.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what they're calling it.
Anyways, I can't remember. There's like a little area kind of there that's a little bit closer to the ski hill.
By the roundabout there.
Yeah, I know, man. I was like looking at townhouses and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, they were like freaking 350 grand or something like that. And then a fast forward, I stopped paying attention. Like fast forward like 4 or 5 years, my buddy's like, oh yeah, we just went in with like another family, bought this like $1 million townhouse. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I looked at that like exact townhouse like not that long ago.
Oh no, there's definitely some people that have been there, like grew up in Revelstoke, that are just sitting on a gold mine, or
Oh,
like some
yeah.
people that had a couple properties and were renting, and now their properties are worth, just the lot alone is worth, $550.
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah, that's nice. Revelstoke's a sweet hill, dude. It's how was the skiing conditions over the kind of the Christmas time?
No, it was good. We got a bunch of snow on Christmas and Boxing Day,
Sick.
and then it kind of dried up a bit, which was fine because the backcountry was safe. And then went and did some backcountry skiing, and then sledding, went up Eagles, then did a little bit of sledding in Barrier, and I went and did some sledding over where I was doing some moose hunting, so that was kind of cool. Did some scouting.
Nice.
Or more like the moose
always-
hunting and scouting for sledding.
Always be hunting. Yeah.
Yes.
Man, how many times is it like that? Like I swear I'll be in like, whatever, sheep hunting country, and you're like, man, I bet you the backcountry skiing back here would be absolutely dynamite.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's a long way to go for a few backcountry turns, though, I will say.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go up to like northern BC and do some stuff up there. Or even like I was thinking like you could go up some of those rivers in the spring when there's still snow after breakup.
Yeah.
And you go do some like never before skied lines.
For sure.
And that'd be epic.
For sure you could. I mean, there's lots of stuff. Like you could like bomb in on so many places with like a quad on like a half decently open horse trail or something like that in the snow, and like get way into the backcountry, like in Gundahoo's territory and stuff. Like if you just go off the highway and like bomb up that quad trail, like that has to put you in some like pretty badass skiing terrain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not too sure if I think they actually have snowmobile closures back in there.
Yeah.
I would assume, but yeah, I'm not too sure.
That's a fair point. Of course they would. Yeah, otherwise I think that would probably happen.
Yeah.
Or you could just, I could drive like 19 hours from here, and I could do like a bunch of ski touring. But there's no good ski touring until I drive at least 19 hours from here.
Yes.
Yeah, nice, man. Right on. So cool. So hanging out in Revy over the break and stuff. And then we were just chatting, you're in Calgary now for national championships?
Yes,
Sick, dude. Friday,
Friday.
you got some pressure coming on you with, like, 75 World Cup wins this season already and stuff like that, or what?
Well, yes and no. I guess I'm supposed to win, I guess is a little bit of
Yeah.
the pressure, but no,
Yeah.
it's all good.
Yeah,
It's all
sweet.
chill for sure.
It's gotta be fun. Do you end up like, I only really have any experience from like mountain bike racing and stuff. You get the guys who are racing World Cup who are like the best, and then they come back and they race against a bunch of guys who are trying to get to the level that you're at. That's gotta be like kind of fun too, hey?
But no, for sure. Yeah, no, it's good for both of us.
Nice, man. Yeah, that's wicked. Cool, dude. I love it, man. I love it. We were talking a little hunting. Your brother just got back from bison hunting too, hey?
Yes, he did.
Sick, successful.
Yep. So that was sweet. So they came back with a bison, but it was like I was talking about before. It's always an absolute expedition.
Yeah.
Absolute expedition.
Yeah.
Like it was, minus 35 majority of the time, and they had a sled go through the ice and just, oh yeah,
What?
like turned into an absolute epic. And then there was a ton of snow this year too.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
like it was really hard to tow in with
Yeah.
the skimmers because there was so much snow.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it was
Dang.
it was a wild one for sure.
Dang. I had what kind of sleds are you guys like? I mean, obviously I know you mountain sled and stuff like that, but you have like a Scandig or like a touring work sled that you kind of bring up there, or do you
Well, they
guys just
had
rock the mountain sleds and say fuck the overheating?
well, we've done that before, and actually, this would have been the year to do it.
Totally,
Like,
lots of
Jesse was
snow.
definitely wished he had a mountain sled for getting through the deep snow, but they had like two old 600 Tundras,
Yeah.
and then they had a brand spanking new 900 Ace, and you can guess which one went through the ice.
No. Did they like
Yeah.
did they recover it and stuff? Is it messed up or is it like
No, it was probably it definitely got messed up, but like it was like handlebars were poking out. That's it.
oh man, that's so painful. Brand
And it was
new.
minus
Just a
35
brand
when it
new,
went down.
dude.
Yeah.
You know what's
One of the guys had to take his clothes off and go in and rope it up in minus 35 in the water.
man,
Yeah,
like
shit show.
if I borrowed that from a buddy, I would really sit there and be like, do I just buy him a new one? I don't know if I want to die. Like
Yeah, no, it was pretty epic, but yeah, the problem with those sleds is they're just not they're not what the old ones are in terms of like simplicity. Like these things, this is like this is a full on turboed sled, right?
yeah,
And so you're not just gonna drain the water and smoke out the smoke or the spark plugs and
spark
fire that
plug.
thing up.
Yeah, totally.
You know, like it could be like a computer could be fried or whatever and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
like so many bells and whistles on them that they just don't have back in like those Tundras or like an old Scandig or something like that.
yeah, so they got it out, dried it out, and then just used the other two sleds for the rest of the trip, and
Yeah,
and it was
nice.
fine.
Right on. Yeah, that's sweet. How they did they I mean, I've never been bison hunting, admittedly. So I do hear like the breakdown process is pretty interesting, like pretty thick hides and stuff like that. Have you killed a bison or you've been on
Yes,
some hunts, eh?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they're like thick hide, like probably thicker than moose a bit, and then just like lots of hair. So and then usually their hair holds a lot of dirt, and so when you run your blade through it,
Just
dulls your blade up real fast.
yeah. That's what I've kind of heard. Hmm. Nice. Yeah, that's
But it is really important to get the hide off those suckers because they're so insulated.
I'm
Like
sure.
even in minus 40, like if you gutted that thing and then left it, the whole back would be totally wasted in the morning. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've never even put in for a bison draw up there or anything like that. But I mean, I do my due diligence. But I wouldn't think that. Like if I whatever killed one in a somehow in a bad spot late, I was like, I'll gut it and kind of leave it here, kind of thing. Damn, I wouldn't have expected that to be honest.
Yeah,
That's wild.
they're so well insulated. Then they also have so much meat because of their really high dorsal on their spine.
Sure. Yeah.
Big old back straps.
Big old back straps. Have you eaten any of it yet? Has your brother eaten any of it yet?
No, I pretty much kind of left when he just rolled back in. So I'm not sure how it is, but
Right.
I'm sure it'll be pretty good. Like they were able to get it broken down really nice, and but it's definitely like something you want to probably smoke. Like it's a good, like, or like slow cooking for sure.
Yeah, do like a sous vide or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we were
they
kind
went
of kind of
for
kind of
ribs and
chatting about
stuff.
that as we started. Like, it's like I hear that from like you're like, oh, I killed like a big old mature bull, and you're like, yeah, some of it's a bit tough to eat.
I hope you really love ground
Yeah,
bison burgers.
yeah, lots of burger, like just tons, 1,000 pounds of burger today.
I think you just have to be super little bit extra when it comes to the cooking process of
Yeah,
like slow cooking it and stuff like that,
yeah.
and marinating it, using the pressure cookers and whatever you want to do. Don't just throw it on the barbecue and expect it to taste like moose. It
Dude,
won't. You'll be
man,
very disappointed.
dude, the big this I got a bighorn replica, freaking from it's like the biggest bighorn we've killed at the outfit.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, this guy, he's pretty sweet.
Unreal.
Yeah, client got us replicas, which is cool. So yeah, it's pretty sweet. That's the worst tasting fucking sheep I've ever had in my life. I I like had some back straps and I actually had like a whole pile of it kind of like vacuum sealed, like not broken down, like broken down off the animal. And then I had like a bunch of big bags vacuum sealed and it was just sitting in my deep freeze. And I was like, what is this? And I said, oh, and I looked down, I'm like, oh, bighorn sheep. So I thought it and whatever. And I was like, oh, nice. I was like, I forgot. I like saved one of the tenderloins and I like cut it up and then like did some, quick searing or whatever and started eating it for lunch like a while ago. And I was like, my wife's like, I'm good. Like I can smell the sage and, and, and meatiness of the sheep from here. I'm like, yeah, this isn't what you want to introduce someone to like.
Yeah, I knew you were eating sheep before I opened the front door to the
Yeah,
house.
100%, 100%. Needless to
Yeah.
say, yeah, we did a lot of ground with this. Yeah. mixed it with some cattle that I got from my buddy's ranch, and it's great. Made great lasagnas actually. So
Well, I tell you what, perfect example is I've always heard about, everybody raves about the bison burger at restaurants and stuff like that. You don't really hear the bison steak
No.
being raved about.
no one, not one time, like not one freaking time. And those are like farm raised bison, not even wild ones,
Yeah, and
So-
they're harvesting them at like, 26, 28 months and not a day over. Right?
No, yeah, like limiting how many steps they get basically.
Yeah.
And you're like, and it's still like, it's just burger from here on out, guys.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, shit, it's funny, like I was BSing with you. Obviously, like I've been in the fitness space for 100 years, and with your career as a World Cup ski cross athlete, fitness is no, and it's also mountain hunting and everything. It kind of ties everything in. But it's super funny. Like obviously, I've been seeing you all over my Instagram lately with your 3 World Cup wins. Congrats on that. Obviously, it's something that we've talked about already, but I saw this this funny thing. I thought it was actually an ad for, were you running a Husky or was it a Steel?
No, it was a Husky.
It was a Husky.
It was the Husky Rancher.
Husky Rancher, a classic farm saw. What was funny is because when I run my Husky Rancher, the bar looks a lot longer than when you run it. So I was like having a laugh, but it was funny. It was like a chainsaw ad or like something like that. You're like just sharpening it with the guide, and you're like, no, fitness, it's more about feel for me out there as you're like just sharpening this saw. And I said, this is hilarious because that's not like that was timed. And it's you and I are on the pod this week. We thought we'd talk some fitness and recovery and stuff like that. But it's an interesting thing, like kind of dive into this any way we want to. But obviously you're in great shape. And I'm sure at a certain point in time, it's kind of like you said in there, like it doesn't matter if like, I'm sure like you risking deadlifting 600 pounds is probably not going to win you more World Cups. Like you being a better skier is probably a better option, better feel for your skis. But curiously, and that's like how hockey's kind of gone a lot in a lot of sports these days. There's a lot of like training earlier on, and then it's not that they don't do training, but they avoid some of the riskier activities like super heavy back squats and stuff like that. It's just maybe not worth the load on the spine for the shit and abuse that you take in your given sport. But I'm curious because you and I have never chatted. What was your like sport background growing up? Like, were you like a junior hockey player? Or were you like shifting tin in the gym at like a young age, 13, 14 years old, squatting 3 plates, like that kind of thing? Or what was your kind of background with that?
So yeah, like honestly, what I was doing a lot of was playing baseball was probably one of my second main sport when I was doing, and also skiing the whole time. I was playing ball, skiing, and then I was also sometimes doing like either track and field with the school
Yep.
or soccer. And then
Yep.
in my senior year, I played rugby. But going, I guess like I was lucky in my high school, we had like a full on strength and conditioning like class that you could take in
That's pretty sweet.
instead of like a gym class.
Yep.
And I think I was actually able to take a gym class and that. And so I was lifting since like grade 10 pretty consistently, and we had like a bit more of like a CrossFit um or like
High
our
intensity
teacher was
circuit
a little
training.
more like CrossFit driven, so
Yep.
we did a lot of like CrossFit stuff. So immediately I learned like the clean, the snatch,
Sure.
back squats and stuff like that, and front
Yep.
squats. But yeah, like 100%, like back in the day it was, oh, you can do 500 pounds, well, can you do, a 510 pounds back squat? And
Totally.
you can do more, and then,
Yeah.
then let's just put on more weight and more weight.
Yeah.
And especially in like the skiing industry, like pushing weight with a back squat was big. And like, we had guys that were like 19 years old moving 600 pounds back in
Yeah.
like the early 2000s, and
Yeah.
tell you what, they're paying for it dearly, for sure.
100%. That's when I did a little bit of work with freestyle ski and snowboard when I was in like 2010 and stuff like that, and around that era, 2011, 12. And that was like one of the big things. Like the old guard was like, yeah, okay, like, 450-pound trap bar deadlifts, paired with like super heavy farmer carries, paired with super heavy front squats and I'm like looking at this session, I'm like, dude, this was like, I don't even think I'd get like Canada team rugby to do some of this stuff, let alone someone who's like not really built for it. Like you don't really want to be putting your body under that kind of pressure, like unnecessarily. You see the same in like golf. Like it's like once you can kind of like maybe body weight and a half back squat, box squat for three, like don't worry about squatting anymore. Like it's not going to make you a better golfer, and you're certainly never going to be a world champion powerlifter. So like just have a maintenance level of strength and then learn how to be a better skier, I would say. Is that kind of
Yeah.
the shift?
Yeah, like for me, it depends. Like for me, I definitely do lighter, higher rep stuff in terms, and when I mean higher rep, I mean like 8 reps, 8 kind of between 8 and 3. Every once in a while, we'll do ones, but it's not at like 100%. It's like one at 85%. And
Totally.
that's kind of during like it's like a lift, but with recovery or kind of like a deload deal. So, yeah, typically like I'm not really maxing out there failing and stuff like that. And like realistically, like I'm kind of pushing the same weight that I've been pushing, you know, 9, 8 years ago when
Totally.
I first came to Calgary going to school and training with the team, really. Yeah, like the most weight I've ever pushed on a back squat is a 200 kilogram box squat.
Yeah.
And
Like 440
yeah,
pounds for those who don't know kgs, which is obviously like a big number, but it's not for a guy your size. Like how much have you like basically weighed this since then? Like you like kind of that 220 area?
I'm like 235.
Yeah. And at the time, that's right. You were a little lighter in preseason there, and then you kind of
Yeah,
bumped up a little bit. How heavy were you when you squatted? Like roughly how heavy were you when you squatted 440?
probably the same, like
Around
230. Yeah.
230, yeah. If you break that down, like, there's no way, like, a guy like me, like, at 170 pounds, like, I've like, I've s I've squatted, to, like, 180 like, 185 kg, like, to a box, like, a high box 1 inch above parallel, but, like, fuck, man, like, there's no real need to do that, like, I certainly, because I was powerlifting at the time, like,
Mhm.
that was the goal, like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't wanna be doing that if I'm like, "Oh, I'm interested in like golf or mountain biking or any of these things." You're like, there's no risk. Like, there's no point risking like the failure that happens when you've got 440 pounds or someone, if you were to really gun to your head, push it. Like, I'm sure you can be a 500-pound squatter because you're a big boy. And like, have that ability, but nonetheless, like, what's the risk? Like, I can't see that being the you're already winning, like, and doing very well. It's not like this is the niche that we need, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And like we also are kind of chasing power. So
Yeah,
like we want me to move stuff fast. So I do a lot of
totally.
like 65%
Yeah,
of what like my max would be
yeah,
and try to move it fast. And so
totally.
that's a big part of it. And then and then we'll go and like we'll get into like 85 plus sometimes, but then we'll come back to that lighter stuff
Totally.
and that's the deal.
And that's when you look at the strength and conditioning paradigm, right? Like that's what it is you need power, and to move power, the precursor to that is to have strength. But it's not, you have to then, as a strength and conditioning coach, you always have to kind of look at like, what's the risk for like more strength if I can't produce more power because my athletes may be injured or moving in an uncompromised, like a compromised position. There's nothing worse than the hockey, like the young hockey athletes I see now, like knees buckled in, squatting, rib cage flared out, back arching, and it's just like just trying to chase like a 300-pound squat. I'm like, dude, I'm like, front squat 185 pounds properly, quickly, and you'll probably be a better hockey player than this like blown out spine, like your buddy you were talking about, like shifting tons of weight when he was 19. You're like, he's not doing so good these days.
Yeah, definitely paying for it. But yeah, so that's kind of like what we focus on, at least for myself. Like there's some guys that'll do some heavier stuff if they're trying to bulk up a bit more.
Sure.
But still like for the most part, pretty similar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I'm sure it's got to be nice too, being 200. Like you're pretty much have to be like, well, obviously you're winning. So like that's got to be like pretty much an optimal weight for your height kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure there's a bit of a, like if you were to all of a sudden really dig ultra marathoning and you were all of a sudden 200 pounds, like I feel like you like wouldn't be as good a ski cross racer. Like correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think like right now I'm very proportionate
Yeah.
to my size,
Yeah.
and that's a really big important part of ski crosses, and skiing in general and sport really is everybody's a little bit different. So you need to be, how can you optimize what you have been, gifted? And so whether that's being a little bit lighter, being a little bit heavier and stuff like that.
Right.
And you also, that works a lot with your frame, because if you don't have the frame to carry mass, you shouldn't carry mass.
Right. 100%. And those are the guys that got to work at probably, like I'd imagine, like in most sports, like those are the guys that got to work a little bit harder in the gym. Like they got to be able to create more power and stuff like that because they don't naturally have like the weight to kind of go behind it. So that's
Hmm.
like that's, I mean, and that's it truly is like like kind of what you're God given, so to speak. And then just like maximize kind of what that looks like. That's
Well,
awesome,
like,
man. So you have like a big strength phase, I'm sure, or maybe not a big strength phase, but like maintenance mode strength kind of all throughout like your preseason. And then what does training look like during? Like most people kind of dial it back a little bit. Like you're obviously racing. I feel like you race like twice a week nonstop. Like this so
yeah,
I mean it's not like
like
you're
it
like
was,
great
sometimes
gym
it's
session.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like sometimes it's pretty wild. And it also depends, like for some athletes, like if you are doing really well and you're going through all the heats and you're getting all that volume, you're probably going to be lifting less than someone who, doesn't have a great qualification and isn't racing on the weekend for the race, right? They're going to go and do a lift there or something to maintain that volume. And so kind of for me, majority of what I was doing was um, stretching, maintenance lifts and stuff like that, or like maintenance circuits and that sort of thing. And then I also start doing pad work when
Yeah.
I'm out there, like boxing.
Yeah, no kidding.
So that's something I like to do when I'm racing. And honestly, for the December block, that was pretty much it. I don't think I actually picked up a barbell
Yeah. So
during the December block.
like realistically, focusing maximally on recovery. Like that, and like whatever maintenance you need, but like as far as like a couple lifts and stuff, but like maximizing recovery, like sleep, nutrition. I'm sure. Do you guys wear like a bio tracker at all, like a Aura ring or your watch or a Whoop strap or?
Yeah, some guys do. I don't. But Yeah, like honestly, 100%. Like it's nutrition, sleep, and then for me, like it's doing that really good warm up every morning.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then like I think we might have slipped a lift in there because we had a couple days off at one point. But yeah, like I'm not letting myself. I don't want to feel the effects of a good workout when
No.
I'm skiing,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, like that's exactly right. Like when you have whatever teams that I've worked with over anything really, like apart from like the sport of fitness, like when I work with CrossFit athletes or powerlifters, like you're usually pretty banged up just before your competition because training beats the hell out of you, but way different because exercise is kind of the sport, which is also a weird thing to say. But when you're like I'll never forget, I was at this Perform Better conference and in Long Beach, California, and this famous personal trainer, strength and conditioning coach was working with the Vancouver Grizzlies, and this major basketball player just got traded in. They said, "Hey, put him through a workout and just see how he's doing." And he put him through this workout just one on one, and he basically just like made him sick. And this like all pro, all star basketball player was like, "Okay, man, like I jumped through your hoops, like I feel sick. I'm probably not going to be able to practice properly for 2 or 3 days. Tell me how that I became a better basketball player from this bullshit." And he was like put in his place so hard. And like that's this other guy that I learned a lot from, this guy named Dan John, who, if people are listening to this and are interested in training, he is the absolute man. He keeps it simple, and the goal is always the goal, right? And for you, your goal is to be the absolute world's best ski cross racer, and nothing should get in the way of that. And especially as like as a strength and conditioning coach, like obviously I probably love lifting more than I love skiing because that's how I got into that job, or else I'd be a ski coach or something like that. And you're like, ooh, yeah, look at this guy Reece. Like, hey man, like let's get you a little bit, let's push you a little bit further. Let's push. And then it becomes my goal for you. And then you're
Mhm.
trying to like, you're like bending down to put your boots on for skiing. And you're like, oh man, I'm so sore. And it's like, how are you going to perform on a World Cup stage where there's no, it doesn't almost seem like you have that much time for recovery when you're skiing as well as you are, because you're like qualifying, seems like another qualifying, then there's like race run finals, and it's like,
Then
and then like
drive
you have
6 hours the next place.
a 2 day break or like a 2 second break, and then you're into the next race. So what do you focus on like right after a race? Like I'm sure there's like maybe like a little bit of like, celebration, like even in the Tour de France they do like a small glass of wine, if you win a tour stage. But I mean, realistically, like what do you guys get up to right away? Like pretty quick on the nutrition and then trying to like reset and get focused, or
Yeah, like for me, we do have physio on the tour with us. So like quick spin, like I've kind of got to the point where I do a majority of my stuff in the morning. Like
yeah.
I do like a half hour stretching and then activation. I usually show up to breakfast with like a bead just starting to come down off my head kind of deal.
Yeah, yeah, nice.
And then I have breakfast, low like boots on, and then go to the hill kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
And then so when I get off the hill, it's usually spin or stretching, sometimes a circuit, and then like boxing or something like that. And the reason for the boxing is I sublexed my left shoulder a handful of years ago, and I like to make sure that after like I go and if I get like physio on my shoulders and stuff, I do the boxing to lock everything back up because I want to be tight. I don't
kind of
want to
tight.
be in like a loose state, right? So
Yeah,
you like obviously you don't want to be totally locked up, but um tight muscles are fast muscles for
yep,
sure.
yeah. That's an awesome. It's great to hear. It's like great to hear you say that, because I'm working with this ex pro hockey player right now who's like really he's like really taken to the high rock scene, and he's pretty good at it, and he's crazy young, but well, not he's young, and one of the things that he was working with this other person, and they were like, "Oh man, you're so stiff. Like we got to like work all this stiffness out." And his one of his buddies, who's a strength and conditioning coach, is like, "Yeah, you should see this other guy because he's probably gonna have like a little different approach." And you look at a really good athlete like yourself, or like this guy I'm talking about, like there's too stiff where you don't have requisite ranges of motion, to perform your task. Like if you need to, let's just, like if you can't like squat down to 90 degrees because your hips are so tight, well, that's going to be pretty hard when you're going over the whoops that you're going over. Like you've got to be able to like pretty much sink your ass to like in between your bindings and then quickly stand back up. So you don't have that prerequisite range of motion. That's an issue. And then, but from that, those muscles can't be loose and sloppy and like you just finished like a hot yoga class, because you need that stretch shortening reflex to just absolutely rebound and like spring you back over the next jump or like get ready for the next corner. So that's a really, really cool thing to hear you say, because there's like way too many people that deal with performance athletes that try and loosen them up all the time and then don't let them kind of not stiffen up, but just like re-engage everything. And it usually turns to a big problem. So that's an interesting thing, because that's one of the things I talk about for like a lot of mountain hunters. A lot of these guys are like, oh, like I just keep everything stiff and whatever, and it's easier. I'm like, well, like you can't squat down all the way to even like crouch down to put your boots on. Like that's a problem, and that's what you have to work on. Don't worry about how tight your quad is and stuff like that, and the performance measures of things.
Yeah, I found that like you have to understand, like you're going to be sore.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be in pain. That is the line, right? Like, because like if you're training and you're skiing and stuff like that, like if you go and stretch these muscles, they're going to be sore, right?
Totally.
But that being said, you don't want to be actively in pain. And for me, like pain is typically coming from like low back and stuff like that. And so that's kind of like, and you just want to be right on the edge. And so, cause like you're never going to stretch enough to where you don't have to stretch. It's a maintenance exercise. So you're going to have to always kind of do that. And then, yeah, with the people being too mobile, it's a perfect example is like, you have a drag car that's sitting there and throttle on at 5,000 RPMs. And then you have a car next to him that's turned off and has to turn the car on and then go. Right.
100%.
Or like if you're towing something and you have a loose line.
Totally.
And then you just hit the end.
Yeah.
When you're versus having a stiff line and you just go right away.
Yeah.
And also, we have a lot on the women's side. They experience that as like the opposite issue of what I have.
Yeah.
And it definitely it opens up a lot of injuries for sure.
100%, man. Like without a doubt. Like there's usually just a little bit of lack, like just a little bit less general overall stiffness and a little bit more elastin with women. And I mean, it's a big thing. So I mean, the amount of people that I'll have come in, like clinically or in sport over the years, and are like, oh, I keep stretching my glute and it just doesn't get any better. And, I take their hip through like a range of motion and it literally has 120% range of motion. I'm like, this thing, do a fucking couple of sled pushes for Christ's sakes. Like that's what you need. And it's so funny. I'll put them in like, like a bit of a banded wall sit or like a banded goblet squat hold, really like laterally ripping the floor apart, engage the glutes. And I'll put them there for like 45 seconds. They're like, sweats rolling down their face and they stand up. They're like, oh, my glute feels absolutely the best it's felt in months. And you're like, yeah, stop stretching it. But then for other people like yourself, you need a maintenance stretch kind of as much as you need to also maintenance strength, I would say. Like you
100%.
need to maintain your base strength to keep the power level that you need to try and squeak a little bit more out to become a better ski cross racer and skier. But you don't want to let that strength dip. And also you don't want to get so tight to the point you can't perform and do the crazy shit that you do on skis out there over some of these like jumps and whoops and in the corners and stuff I see you do. So it's like a real fine line. And I mean, I don't know how you would ever figure it out without doing it for like, how long have you done this now for? Like 9 years? Like,
well, I've been an athlete for my entire life kind of thing. And then, but out of high school, coming to Calgary, training at Winsport, with actual trainers and stuff like that, and them trying to figure you out. I kind of got juggled around with trainers the first few years. It was almost like every 9 months we had a new guy.
Yeah.
And then I've had the same one for I think 5 to 6 years now.
Nice.
And it's been really good. But definitely figuring out what works well for you is very important, because everybody's a little bit different. And like for me, like I'm a kind of guy that has to stretch every single morning. And like still, like I probably stretch 85% of the days of the year, I'd say.
Yeah.
Would be probably pretty fair, because like I'm not like when it's cold as fuck and you're getting out of the tent in the morning. I'm not out there throwing pigeon in. I'm just warming up and I'm going to go hunting, right?
Yeah,
I don't care.
100%.
But that's where all those other days, that's where they pay off. You can get away with that, right?
Totally.
And so, like when I'm skiing, I usually do like a 20-minute stretch, and then I do like 10 to 15 minutes of activation, and then I go to breakfast. So like I'll stretch out my hips, my groin, and back and stuff like that, and then I'll go do like Copenhagen dips.
Yep.
So like tension
A lot
there,
inside the hip.
and then like squatting, and then lunges with like an active switch kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I'll do like a little bit of shadow boxing and some push-ups, call her good.
Yeah. That's awesome. Interestingly, when you're stretching, you doing a lot of like passive longer holds, or are you moving kind of a little bit more flow, like moving through like a 90-90 hip flow rotation and that kind of stuff? Are you like doing some of the more classic, like, yeah, man, I'm like laying on my side, like I'm in a pigeon for 2 minutes or 90 seconds on one side. Then I'm like doing like a, like a Samson lunge or a traditional kind of like groin or psoas stretch, let's call it hip flexor stretch, for another 90 seconds.
I'm definitely not very static for sure. Like
you're moving.
Yeah, it might not be a lot of movement, but like if I'm in pigeon, I'm usually like kind of like rolling my hip,
rocking around.
Kind of thing. Honestly, I don't think I'm flexible enough to just go and sit in stretches really.
And also,
so it's just like breathe and you sink into it, and I can hang there a little bit. Then I need to come back out and then kind of drop back in, sort of thing.
That's exactly what we were just talking about, though. Like me being like, oh, you're too tight, and then, but not understanding that that's actually like where your performance lies. Like if you have someone who's a real good jumper, I guarantee you that their calves are tight. They're not so tight they're painful and causing problems, but they are tight. Like any one of those receivers in the NFL, man, like they can jump through the roof, not because they got real loose calves. Like they jump through the roof because their calves are so tight and they have that quick stretch, right? And obviously like athletic ability. But like for a guy like you, I would want you moving in and out of stretches in areas that are tight and what works, versus like, hey, dude, I need you doing this pigeon stretch for 3.5 minutes on this one side. Like, I don't think that's good for you. I think you come out of that limping most of the time.
Well, here's the deal. Like I need to, like in the morning, the goal is for me to put myself in every position lower body wise that I would get put in on a ski course. Yeah. And so
nice.
And I don't need to go and sit in them. I need to go in them and I need to come back out, because I'm not going to go in and sit in that position when I'm on the slope, right? I'm going to have
I hope not, man.
really big aggressive move, and I'm going to, totally max out my hip flexibility.
Yeah.
With power, and sometimes an impulse from the snow is going to almost put me there, and then I need to bounce out of it. So I need to be able to drop in and come out, drop in and come out. So it's a lot more movement for sure.
Yeah, man.
And then also, like, I found what works really well for me when I'm getting treatment is like if I'm on my back and they put me in pigeon, and it's you can tell me the specific what it's called, but basically we basically drop into the stretch and then I push them out of it.
Yeah.
And then we drop deeper.
Yeah, like a PNF stretch, like a facilitation or an MET type. Yeah, absolutely the best. There's still, that's one of the first things I ever remember like even doing when I was like 14 with like my first trainer on a team, right? And you're like pushing in and out of each stretch, or you have like one of your other teammates doing it and you have the coach leading the whole thing. You feel like $1 million after that. You know what I mean? You still want some of that tension, and then you want to sink into it for a second and come back out. And that's definitely where the magic lies there for sure. I mean, it's good to hear. I think
it's similar to like kind of my hunting goals too. It's like very similar for sure. Like, cause you want, it's like this perfect example is like, if you're out there, like that's why people roll their ankles. It's because they're too loose, right?
For sure. Roll their ankles, put their pack on, like take like one little higher step up or step down. They're like, oh, I just felt something pop. It's just like, dude, because you don't own that range of motion. And the other thing you said that's money is like you're doing this stuff 85% of the year. How much easier is it to stay ready? Like, I couldn't imagine you'd have the success you're having if you just completely let yourself go in the off season of skiing and then tried to get back in shape really quickly. Like I don't know, maybe there's some guys on your team that do that, but I mean, I can't imagine that's a recipe for success in really anything, to be honest.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And like for me personally with the stretching deal, um, I kind of made the full commitment to being somebody who has to stretch almost every morning when I was 25. But it took from 23 to 25 of living in pain all the time
Yeah.
to get there. Cause I didn't and then I went and basically I just committed. I'm like, all right, I'm going to stretch every single day for 2 months
Yeah.
and see what happens. First
Totally.
month, honestly, like I felt okay, but nothing major. And then after 2 months, I'm like, oh my gosh, I could not believe how much pain I was living in for the last 2 years. Like every single time to tie my shoe, wince.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Oof.
And then, putting a backpack on
Yeah.
or whatever. Like
Yeah.
just like it was crazy the change.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And I think that's just and that's the other key, right? Like staying ready. So you're 85% of the year you're doing this stuff. Consistency. Like you've been doing this now for, like you said, in this first time, you're like, I need to do this for 2 months. And you've been doing it pretty much 85% of the year since you were 25, right? And that's it. Like imagine if someone, let's just dial it back from kind of your skiing kind of fitness focus and stuff and just more general with like especially the hunting space. If you, that's what I've been like trying to preach to people for a long time. Like don't try and get in shape a month before you hunt. Try and be game ready. And if you're maybe not in the world's best shape, but you've been like pretty consistent all year, you know what's going to happen next year? You're going to be in even better shape. And you know what's going to happen the year after that? You're going to be in phenomenal shape and you're going to feel better doing it. You can never unlock as much performance as you would like to have if you're wincing every time you tie your shoe. Like the body doesn't work that way. Like as soon as there's lots of pain in an area or even a remote, like some amount of pain, your body, your brain will power down those muscles and you'll pick it up from somewhere else. And that's where movement compensation comes from. And so then you have a guy, like perfect example like yourself, like all the natural gifts in the world, but you're like, dude, every day I was living in pain. And you did something for just a couple months. It's not even that much commitment. Like it's not even that much commitment. Imagine what most people would feel like who are probably living in more pain than you were and like are more tight and aren't in as good a shape. You'd be like, man, do this for a couple months, 10 minutes every morning, even 5 days a week. Like, how do you not feel a lot better?
Well, the big thing is just like that time adds up so fast, right?
Yeah.
Like I've got, in a course of a month, 30 days, I'm putting, 20 minutes a day down. Like it's crazy how much, and then that just banks, right?
Yeah, 100%. And all of a sudden you're like, it's like compounding interest working for you in the bank. You're like, oh, I didn't have that much money in there, but after 20 years, that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing to your body, man. It's a huge thing. One of the things I was thinking about the other day, because I get asked this stuff all the time, and people always want like a quick fix. So it's always the case. Do you guys use much in the way of like, are you guys hitting the sauna? Like people's personal preference, you hitting the sauna, you doing any cold plunge, like ice tub work and shit like that when you guys are trying to recover in between races? Any light therapy, any of that stuff?
Actually, yeah. Fortunately, usually in Europe, almost every hotel we go to has a sauna.
That's sweet.
Or like some sort of spa. So usually there's quite a few guys that go out there and do like a sauna to like cold or rest, then back into the sauna and
little contrast.
I sometimes do it. Yeah. Like I definitely don't overdo it too much, but it's nice to go in there and get like a bit of a good sweat going on. Yeah, no, the saunas can be nice, and then the cold stuff can be good too in the right way. Like honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the whole body cold plunge. Like I think it's just a little tough on the organs but like waist down, I think that's unreal for me. Like I love it, feels really good on the legs and stuff like that. Yeah, no, like I know the cold plunge has value and going the full body is fine too, but
I'll tell you right now, man, I absolutely hate it. Like it doesn't make me feel good. I've done it for 30 days in a row, getting in the fucking cold plunge in my backyard. Doesn't make me any better. I don't make any more money at the end of the year. It seems like I don't lift any more weights. you know, the sheep, I still can't kill a big mule deer to save my life. You know, like, oh, it's all the same. Nothing else has changed. So I think there's a big portion of that. But however, and I mean, this is from my days that I think running, like when I ran track too, and like and a few other sports, but really running track, like especially after beating the wheels off your legs for running middle distance. And like we go like pour all the ice in the thing, and you're standing in that cold plunge, like waist down. I mean, I do feel like
That's
$1 million
huge
coming out of it. I
for
also
sure.
wonder if some of these people have like so much inflammation in their bodies that they're like, wow, this feels great. But if you're like, you don't use your upper body nearly as much as your lower body for obviously. And
Hmm.
I mean, maybe if, I don't know, maybe if all you did was bench press and arm wrestle, like maybe you'd be like, yeah, the upper body feels great or something like that. But like, I can't imagine, I got to imagine it's something to do with the inflammation that you have and like the wear and tear in your lower body, that it feels really good to get in the ice. And for you, your upper body, you just don't need it. So you're putting yourself almost through more like more of a tax than you really need to, you know?
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. And you're like, I've never done like a full body plunge and been like, wow, this make my arms feel great. Like it's always, even if I do a full body, it's like, wow, my legs feel unreal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I sink in. I finally get it. You know, I'm 2 minutes sitting in this shivery cold thing, and I'm like, get out. And I'm like, yeah, my legs feel great. And like but now I'm like chilled to the bone and I feel awful. Like it doesn't give me energy like everybody else seems to say that it does, man. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm different, but
And then
yeah,
you're
that's it.
like,
Yeah,
it's gotta be tough on the heart. Like I don't care. It's gotta be tough on the heart.
yeah,
Just having that shock all the time. But
I think there's a lot of like accommodating effect to it. I mean, I think if like I mean I got buddies of mine, man, that can go in the lake right now, January. They can go in that lake for fucking 8 to 10 minutes, and they
mhm.
come out and they're like barely shivering. And I go in that lake for 60 seconds, and I come out and I will uncontrollably shake for at least 20 or 30 minutes. And like I'm like, I think physiologically, like, and like I said, I tried to kind of like bring myself back. I would be like, I wonder if I can like overcome this. No, like if I go in there for 2 or 3 minutes, like I'm mentally tough enough. Like I can do it. I literally
Mhm.
am like shivering and shaking for 4 or 5 hours afterwards. I'm like, I don't think that's good for me. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, I just don't think that's that good for me.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure.
But meanwhile, I can go into my legs and like waist down. I'm like totally fine. I can be in there. It feels great. Just kind of like we were saying. So a little bit of sauna, a little bit of cold plunge, like maybe more ice bath stuff for the legs, kind of thing. Pretty typical. Are you guys using any light therapy or any kind of stuff like that? I mean, I know it's not like the Ineos, you know, like $50 billion a year road cycling team, but with the Canadian ski budget and stuff. But I mean, like, still, are you guys using any like cutting edge stuff or trying like
Normatech.
whatever?
Normatech.
Yeah, nice. Hey, you guys
Like
like that stuff quite a bit.
yeah, no, the Normatech is a great flush for sure. So like that's definitely either used with usually a spin or it can be used without a spin too. It's pretty nice. Like that's a pretty big one. There's a lot of people that are like daily Normatech users for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Also think too, like, you know, what are your thoughts on this? Like, you got a guy like yourself, like you say, you'd like to get that stuff done in the morning. Probably primes your tank a little bit too. You hit breakfast, you hit the hill. You know, you come off. You don't necessarily want a lot more stuff to do. Like, you want to focus on recovering, and recovery is maybe a little spin, maybe a bit of massage work, but it's also relaxing, like sitting there, letting your body, like your mind, kind of like recharge. So doing something like the Normatech also is like, it's nice because it's kind of a passive therapy. You just, if people who don't know what it is, by the way, like the Normatech recovery stuff, it's just basically like like compression sleeves for your legs or your arms or your hips, and it kind of has a program. You can set the time, and it kind of squeezes, like, you know, each compartment at a time, and then it kind of works it back up all the way. The legs feel, and the hips, I find, feel absolutely unbelievable, as far as like, yeah, just stuff that's stiff, that's for sure. But I think it's kind of nice that like you have a passive therapy just to hop in the legs. You can be on your phone, you can watch a show, you can freaking just relax and close your eyes. You don't have to be actually like doing more work, you know what I mean?
For sure. And like, you have to give yourself time to recover because otherwise you're just always running in a deficit and your body can do it, but you're not going to get any stronger.
100%, man. Yeah. And I mean, like you said, like how many races do you guys have a year? 50?
No, not 50, but we have I think 18 races this year, but that would be like 13 venues probably. And
Yeah.
then each venue represents 5 days on snow.
Right. That's okay. Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking of. Like you have like
Yeah, so like
obviously
50 to
training and stuff.
60 days of racing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's what I was thinking of. Dude, that's a lot in a very
Yeah.
condensed amount of time. Like you got to think like even like the NFL is like insane because it's all of a sudden like 18 weeks, while 17 weeks of regular season plus playoffs. I mean, that's intense to be going 5 days a week. And I mean, you guys are kind of doing like a similar kind of thing where you're just slamming yourselves down that hill and like needing to maximize everything you have. Recovery's got to be the number one for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, freaking A, man. Nice.
But it's
So
funny, like the different teams definitely have different vibes when it comes to recovery and stuff. You know, there's definitely like some teams that push their athletes a lot more than some other ones and stuff like that. Or like there's some teams that do like the umbrella effect of like everybody's doing this
yeah,
today
yeah,
instead of like what does this athlete need? What does this
right.
athlete need? And 100% a time and a place and particularly like preseason perfect example and stuff like we were talking before about I don't want to feel sore when I'm skiing. Preseason I am making it so that it is worse than the worst day I'm going to have on the circuit.
100%. 100%.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, you got to look forward to racing because your training was so miserable. Like
Hmm.
that's the best. You know what I mean? And that's when you know you're probably in the best shape. But then ski season, that swaps around completely. Skiing is, or the gym and training is just an absolute adjunct to your to like it's the it's the little green things they kind of sprinkle on your steak, but the steak is what you're there for, you know what I mean?
Oh no, for sure. Like with the skiing, like I don't want to come down to the like. There's definitely some courses that are gnarly and they're pushing it to the limit and I'm pushing myself to the limit. Like I'm not holding much back, if any. And but still, like I want to feel okay after. I should feel okay after because I've done harder things
Yeah.
in the past.
Yeah.
And then all also that makes a huge difference because it ends up your best ends up being better than other people's best on like the fifth run of the day. Kind of.
100%. Yeah. And that's got to be like after X amount of gate starts throughout like training, qualifying, and then your race runs and all that stuff. That's got to be like a number one. Like you're feeling your absolute best coming into your finals run versus some guy who's maybe like a little bit broken down or something like that.
Yeah. And I think that's been a huge success for me. And that's why I've found a lot of success later in the season
Yeah.
because I do less. Like I let the skiing ski me into shape in terms of I'm not doing so much working out that my body's not actually able to work. The body's always at a deficit, so it's not recovering from the effort I put in on the slopes and getting stronger based on those stressors. It's having to deal with all these other stuff that I'm doing in the gym and trying to get stronger from that. So I end up becoming a stronger, better skier by the end of the season versus lots of the other guys are just doing so much that they're just wore out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly right. I'm sure that keeps you like mentally sharper too. And with something like head to head racing, I mean, you have to be pretty mentally on it, man.
Well, for sure. Like if you physically, it's a lot easier to be comfortable in your mind if you're physically not completely struggling.
Totally. Like think about that for like a 14-day sheep hunt. I mean, and that's the other thing, you know, like think of 14-day sheep hunt, people who are like constantly unsuccessful, maybe like harvesting rams or whatever. I feel like that's a big part of it is that like they get to day 6 or so and they're like, there's something over there probably, but like I can't do this. Like I'm not really interested. They make excuses. They're like, you know, if we find something, we won't be able to get it back in time, you know, and then you're kind of like losing already versus like, yeah, man, like that's just kind of where we got to go. And I feel good. Like, let's just get up and get moving. And you're like, okay. And you can like make better decisions that way. You don't end up maybe making and pulling the trigger on something you wish you didn't because you're just a better mind because your body's in better shape. Like 100%, dude.
Yeah, no, you're not making decisions based on like you're not making decisions based on physical limitations. You're making decisions based on, okay, I know I can get there and I just have to worry about the time. Can I get there before dark? Kind of things like that. And like it's not even a question of can I get there? And that's kind of gotten to the same point for me, like when it comes to getting out those big moose and stuff like that late season. And it's like I know I can get it out. It's gonna be kind of hard. And like I'm not gonna go and harvest a large animal that's gonna take multiple days to get out if it's 26 degrees out at 2 p.m. But you know, if it's you know freezing or damn near every night, and then warming up to below minus or below 10 degrees,
Yeah.
yeah, go
No
for
problem.
it. You know,
Yeah.
and it's like how are we going to get it out? Well, one piece at a time, kind of thing.
Yeah, man. Exactly.
And but also like it does take a lot because you know and that's when you go you know you're like I'll go and I'm like packing meat for like 20 hours out of the day kind of thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
you know, your feet are starting to pay for it and stuff like that. And 100%, that's where some people, their bodies can break down. And that's also why I've kind of started to go more on the side of lighter packs,
Yeah.
more trips.
Yeah.
Because like
Totally.
I can do 400-pound packs and be in a lot better place than 260-pound packs.
Totally.
And the chances of me getting hurt or tweaking my knee or something like that is a lot lower.
Way higher, man. Yeah. Like I'll take triple the distance and a fraction the weight. Even like sometimes like, man, I've been like even going up early season, I got a heavier pack than I want. I maybe got to carry some water. I will have no problem splitting my pack in half, doing like a couple of 50-pound loads or like a couple of 45-pound loads or whatever. It's way easier. Get up there, get some stuff set up, have a quick bite, come back down, grab your shit, go back up. Like it's not that tough versus that like grind and you're just like, oh my God. And you're like, I think I tweaked my calf. And you're like, oh, well, we're in hour 4 of the first of the first 16 days out here. This is going to be a tough trip. Like
Yeah.
I'm all for it, man. The first person who taught me that was Ben Storak. He's like, dude, just dump half that and we'll just come back and get it. And I was like, oh, really? And then I was like, because I was always like, just carry all your shit. And then I did that the first time. I was like, this is way easier. I was like, I'm going to do this way more often.
For sure. And it's funny, like for me, like I am a big time water rationer. I do not pack more than a liter of water if I have any sort of access to water. I know there's so many guys out there that they're filling up their whole bladder. They got 4 liters of water in their pack to start the day off, and then they're gonna go walk a horse trail up a goddamn creek.
Yeah, no way.
and I'm just like, what,
dude? I have a bottle in the holster. It's got like 600 mils in it. If I've got access to water anywhere up this way, and that's it, dude. I will. It's like the end of a day. And my pack's only like 35 pounds and I've got like a liter of water. I'm dumping it out if there's water back at camp and then I'm still going. Like, I'm so pissed if I like forget I've got like another water bladder like in my bag and it's not like that heavy. And I like get back and I'm like, damn, there was 1.5 liters extra in here. Like, what was I carrying this for?
Yeah, no, I ran into this one crew of guys and honestly, really great guys. But man, I had a really good laugh because we were up in this area that there is no water at all. And I packed in, I think like for 2 days, I think I had 8 or 9 liters of water. I think I had 9 liters or so, but I like drank one on the way up kind of thing.
Yep.
These guys had 15 liters each for 2 days.
What?
And I'm like, what are you packing? You got like an igloo from Canadian Tire strapped on the back of your pack?
You've just got like a rolly like cart behind you that you like carry your Costco groceries in. You're like, what's going on here, man?
And the best part is these guys go and pour out 7 liters each.
Oh, for sure.
The evening that they come back.
For sure.
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's wild.
You guys are nuts. You
how
guys are
how
so
far
nuts.
how far was like the pack in? How far was that?
It wasn't super far, but it was
like a
straight up.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Not nice. Yeah. Fair enough.
It was probably like, I don't know, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But an hour and a half with an extra 20 pounds on your back.
Dude, yeah, I would probably leave some shit at the base, like leave a couple liters just in case shit went sideways, and I would just make the trip back down, and I would just hike back up, like just with water. Like, man, unfreaking believable, dude. That's wild. Frick. So recovery stuff kind of covered that, and then this like training, and then yeah, man. I mean, that really like kind of covers a lot of that stuff. What will be like your focus, like after the ski season? What does that kind of look like for you guys? When is that? That's got to be what, like April?
Yeah, so we usually wrap up last week of March.
Okay, yeah.
And so
then,
typically
then what
there's
the hell do you do?
Yeah, you get kind of a bit of a couple of weeks off usually. Like some people like take it and do literally nothing. Some guys go like, I know there's some people that go down like Mexico or something for 2 weeks and hang out on the beach, go surfing, whatever. For me, I don't know, sometimes I take time off, but like if I'm not like have a better thing to do, I'll be in the gym or I'll be doing something like that. So I usually don't really give myself much of a break after in terms of that sort of thing. And like usually it's like, or like I'll give myself a day, like you have like your travel day home, give yourself a day, or like maybe that day you'll do just like something chill in the gym, kind of help to kind of put yourself on the right foot, dealing with the hip issues of sitting on planes for, 12 hours to get back to Canada kind of thing. But yeah, usually kind of you get back into like just that standard, model of like kind of like 3-week rotations is kind of what we do, where it's like 2 heavies and then a deload, and then you go to the next thing, your next kind of goal. And so I usually kind of starts off pretty quick, and I like to start it off quick too, because like for me too, I have a little bit less time than some because I go and do like that hunting season.
Sure.
So like I'm going to lose some training in August or September.
Yeah.
To hunting, and so I usually try to get into it pretty quick. And yeah, like it just turns into just like your standard, you just kind of standard CrossFit athlete or powerlifter athlete kind of thing.
Yep, 100%. So you kind of focus on that, and then that's like until hunting season, and then it's basically you're into ski training camp, and then that's the periodization of your year.
Yeah, sometimes we do like a spring camp though in May.
Oh, yeah.
So last year it was in Fernie. Sometimes we've done it like Sunshine.
Nice.
Things like that. So we'll usually do that, and that's a good one for like the younger guys to have an opportunity to ski with some of the more seasoned guys and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so kind of
like
usually
the World Cup
integrate
level.
the development team with the World Cup during that camp. So that's a good one.
Yeah.
And then but yeah, no, like kind of just the training deal. Then for me, like I try to do a lot of other like sports and activities, like whether it's like I do a little bit of instead of going to yoga, I go to jiu-jitsu when I can.
Nice. Yeah, sweet, man.
And so that's sweet.
Yeah.
And then
hopefully coming in and out of positions quickly in jiu-jitsu, not getting bent into a pretzel in there. That's for sure.
So that's good. And then we'll do like there you go. We got it with the cell phone now.
Yes. All right. Nice. We actually just lost you there for a second, but you know what? True to form, you are back on. Nice. So I mean, we're just kind of like recapping there. We're just kind of like, getting close to wrapping up and just like finishing up, like, so kind of training season, a little bit of that training camp, you come off, then you're back kind of hitting the weights right away, a little bit more of a standard lifting program, and kind of got to really kind of pin on it pretty quickly because you've got kind of a 2-month or 6-week or so mountain hunting season before I'm sure you're kind of back on skis. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like there is, I think over the time I've found a lot of value in that. in like the mountain hunting and stuff like that going into the season. Like just
Sure.
building that overall endurance is sweet. And then also I think what's almost more important is having the joint spending so much time under load and underweight, but
Yes.
also like we were talking about before, in a safe environment where we're not overdoing it, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's just this like constant time under tension. And then as soon as you kind of do that for a couple months, man, as soon as you work like a little bit of threshold work, my recovery, my threshold work's never very good when I come out of the hunting season. Like my heart rate gets into like the 170s and I'm like, oh, I don't feel very good. But as I recover instantly. So I do like a few weeks of threshold training, like at the CrossFit gym or running or something. And I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm in in phenomenal shape. I haven't skipped a beat. But to build that base fitness, it takes freaking time, man. And it takes lots of reps. And I think that's the biggest thing is like just coming in with that ability to kind of like have the base level aerobic capacity and you can building block on from there. It's the same kind of thing as strength. Like you want power, well, you better have a certain amount of strength to kind of build on that for the power, right? And I think that's one of the big things as well that you kind of like obviously do. You found great success with this recipe that you've kind of woven in to not just like just this skiing career that you have, but like it just weaves right into your natural life like quite easily. Yeah.
For sure. And then like with the hunting and stuff, it sits you right at that perfect zone 2 to like bottom of zone 3 heart rate
Yeah.
level, right? And
100%.
that's the funny thing is like people are always they don't understand sometimes that if you really want to get better, sometimes sweating is not always, you can't always be going full gas. If you
No.
want to actually improve your endurance and stuff like that, you have to sit there doing those slow zone 2 spins or something like that. And then the perfect thing is, yeah, hunting, it forces you to sit right there because you're going to be looking, glassing, walking. Typically, you're not, really hammering yourself. Obviously, when you're going up hills with a heavy pack, sure, you're going to be getting out of that. And then also, perfect example is that's also where you're burning fat.
Yeah, for sure.
That is where you burn fat is in zone 2 to bottom of zone 3, right there.
For sure. Without breaking down your musculature. That's like the big thing. Like, yeah, you're burning fat due to another mechanism of having to refuel when you're going zone 4, but zone 4 is also very catabolic for muscles. And when you're breaking down your muscle tissue all the time, like if all you do is just go out, put a pack on and absolutely pin it for an hour and a half all the time, like max capacity, heart rate maxed out, zone 4, pushing zone 5, you'll break down. Like you'll get injured. There's no other way around it. Versus if you kind of have that better approach and you work that zone 2, zone 3, like you're not breaking down your musculature is not enough. You're building zone 2 fitness, that nice base aerobic level of fitness, and then you're also again like you were just saying, like you're burning fat, like you're gonna lose all that weight that makes life way easier in the mountains.
For sure. And like that's where you get your all day gear.
Yes.
That's where you get it where I can go and hunt and hike all day long if I have to, and it's not a factor at all. Like I just had a really big backcountry day on January 2nd. We did 6 transitions from skis to skins.
Yeah. Big day.
And like I don't even think we had lunch, and we didn't there was not a single break during the day. It was either we're skinning
Or
or
skiing.
we're transitioning or
Yeah.
we're skiing
Yeah.
all day long.
That's awesome. It's as good as it gets right there. That's
Yeah.
sick, man.
And honestly, it was totally fine until like the last tour up, didn't bring enough food, and I was kind of starting to just like, oh yeah, we're getting tired kind of
Yeah,
deal. Get
bonking a
that last
little.
skin out. But that's going from, 9:30 in the morning till I think we got down the truck at 4 p.m.
Yeah. Basically like dawn till dusk kind of thing. Like that's a big ass day, you know? And that's the level of fitness that you need to achieve to be like a good successful mountain hunter in my opinion. Consistently day in, day out, not just one trip that beats you up and you don't want to do it again for 2 or 3 years because you got so beaten up on it.
Yeah, no, like to train for hunting doesn't mean you go and put, 100 pounds in your pack and go do the equivalent of the grouse grind. You're like, yeah, I've been doing this for 2 weeks and I'm ready to roll. Sure, sure, yeah, your joints are going to be a little bit woken up if you don't hurt yourself going
Yeah.
into the season. Like they'll be able to handle load, but like, man, it's tough.
It's better than nothing, but it's not the best way to do it.
Yeah,
Like that's
no,
for
for
sure
sure.
it. Yeah, freaking A, man. Well, dude, I feel like we should wrap it up. Otherwise, you and I'll yammer fitness all freaking day.
Oh yeah.
Awesome, man. Like, thanks for taking the time. And dude, I can't wait to see how you do at nationals. And obviously, best of luck the rest of the season. And I can't wait to see you, strap it up for Canada at the Olympics this year, man.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Until next time, I guess then.
Till next time. See you next week, buddy. Cheers.
Okay. Bye.